So hi everyone and welcome to today's webinar. My name is Sofia and I'm going to act as your host today. And with me I have my colleagues Ebru and Pascal who are going to share their personal view on professional coaching for you today. And I also want to say happy International Coaching Week to everyone, which is ongoing at the moment. Before we start, let's take some practicalities. The session is going to be recorded, so no worries if you have to drop out or if you have someone you want to share the recording with after the session, that's perfectly fine. You will find the recording on our social media, so please go on and follow us. My colleague Emily will share in the chat all the details you need for doing that. The coaches are going to chat with you today a little bit and also want you to be interactive with us. So please open the chat and set already now the chatting settings so that you are chatting with everyone and not only the hosts and the panelists. All your questions are going to be looked at in the end of the session when Pascal and Ebru have presented the topic. So please make sure to put them in the Q&A so that we have a list of all the questions to look at in the end. I know Mentimeter is going to be used also today. So if you have your phone beside you, it would be good so you can scan the QR codes or also click on the links that Emily will share in the chat with you to interact with the coaches. But most of all, this is a space today for listening and to get new insights, take notes, take pictures, share on social media if you want to. Just remember to tag Agile42. You can also tag Ebru, Pascal, or myself if you want to. And I will now hand over to Ebru first and then Pascal, and I will see you when there's time for questions.
Thank you, Fia. I'm really very excited today because this is something I will tell about my own journey. So I'm living in Istanbul and working as an Agile coach in Turkey. And I have a work-life experience like over than 25 years now. I'm not going to tell all about it. I'm just going to start telling when I first met my coaching, and it was in 2010. When I was a manager in a large telecom company in Turkey, and it was my first management role, and I was having some difficulties. And luckily, my company was offering leadership coaching and mentoring to the new managers. So it was the first time I have been coached from a professional coach. And it was really very nice. And it wasn't an easy process for me to be on the coach's side because I felt like I was squeezed like an orange. So it really was really a tiring, a lot of thinking process. Then after this really good coaching session, somehow I was appointed as a new role in the organization, and I was acting like a change agent. And in that role, I was trying different things in the organizations, how we can make people work better. And I met with Scrum and Agile, and I first took the role of Scrum Mastery in a team, and then all the things started to change in my life. And then I worked with different teams in the organization, and then I became an Agile coach in the company. Then later in 2014, luckily I met with this beautiful company, Agile42. So I just joined them, and till 2014, I'm working with Agile42. And my coaching career started as mentoring by Agile42 very experienced coaches and people, pairing with them. So I learned everything, a lot of things from my own company. Later on, I thought that I needed to have this journey a little bit trained by certifications, and I needed to honor my coaching ways with new skills and grow up. So the trainings and these kinds of things just came into my life, and I started working on organizations and system relationship coaching. And then I started my journey to become a ICF, International Coaching Federation certified coach in 2019. And the journey is still continuing. And we were just talking with Fia that it's a never-ending journey. And then I got my accreditation last year as a professional certified coach. And meanwhile, I was also mentored by one of our very experienced coaches. I also got a certified team coach by Scrum Alliance. And throughout all this journey, I also offer what I learned to the other coaches, new coaches. So I'm mentoring people who are in their agile coaching or professional coaching journeys. So I'm working in the community. I have also neuroscience training. I have NLP trainings, and I love continuing growing on them. So this is from me.
Okay, I guess it's now my turn. Hello, welcome everybody also from my side. My name is Pascal Papathemelis and I'm located in Finland. Actually now I'm in Espoo, and it's a small city next to the capital, Helsinki. And yes, I'm also working as a coach. And yeah, my career has been longer as Ebru's, but I start not from when I had my first coaching experience, but when I started having my first own coaching training. That was 2012. There we had a 3-day training. It was in-house in the place where I was working, and mainly we were taught the method of GROW. So goal, reflection, options, and what would be the way forward. At the same time, I had experience with a person who was coaching me one-on-one. There was some tricky situation, and then a guy said, "Oh, go to this person. He's the best coach I know. He would glad help you to coach." But the experience was not very good. I would say it was actually quite the opposite of what I was expecting as a coach. There was no connection that was established between the two of us. And now afterwards, I think the person was not a very good coach from my experience also, and from many other aspects. Anyway, that gave me a bit of thinking of what coaching is. So I started looking more into it. And with the training, I started using in my everyday work the coaching conversations as a tool to have a better communication with my peers and the people I worked with. Then 2013, I started joining in the Agile Finland. That's an association here that works with Agile. They have a coaching circle. And I was a regular in those coaching circles. We had coaching dojos and discussing many things related to coaching and Agile. And there I was since 2014. I started to be also one of the co-organizers of this monthly event. Then 2019, I did a proper education that lasted half a year, and I became a brain-based coach at the Neuro Leadership Institute. And that was also the time when I started working for Agile 42. And this journey gave me the option to work more targeted into gaining experience and coaching people more systematically. And that was like when my professional career as a professional coach started. So it ended up then after a longer journey of learning and coaching, fulfilling the criteria to become an ACC, Associated Certified Coach, in 2021. And then I continued also at Agile 42 more the coach journey in the Scrum Alliance path. And then I became a certified team coach into last year. And yeah, now I have by now more than 310 hours of coaching. I checked this morning, so it's so many coaching hours, which are not the same as Agile coaching hours. I tell them like professional coaching hours, where I do not have an agenda. And last year I also started being part of the ICF peer coaching, which is I'm coaching another ICF coach and another ICF coach is coaching me. And that's a good experience because you get to learn different techniques and other things, which probably in my own experience has not been there. I get new experiences. And I'm also now have been active since last year in a study group in the local ICF chapter in Finland. So that's about me and how my journey has been.
Now we have some questions for you. This was our own journeys. As you can see, journeys have started differently. And we have a question for you, and we would like you to answer the question using the Mentimeter. So you can use either the QR code here or the code that our colleague is sharing in the chat. The question is, have you personally been coached?
And you have only the option to answer with yes or no.
Yeah, this is not a good coaching question, Pascal.
I know,
but sometimes we use it.
We want to get some statistics of what our audience is and get some input from you.
Yeah, we will be talking about these core competencies, and we generally talk about the coaching questions needs to be more open, but in order to get the answers, we are just waiting for you to provide the answers, and my colleague Pascal will share the data soon.
Yeah, and I see answers are coming in. And they're still coming in. So perhaps we can, while you're thinking about this, should we go to the next question? We have actually 3 questions in a row. Or...
Okay, let's go to the next question.
Yep, and I will come back then with the answers in a moment.
Okay, the next question is, so what is coaching in your opinion? So we would like to hear some words for this. So it's not a yes or no question. We want you to reflect on what you think coaching is. So our colleague is also sharing the link in chat, and you can also find the link here with the QR code. And we have one more question. And the question is, what is not coaching in your opinion? We can't solve all the problems with coaching approach. So what you think is not coaching? It's really important to differentiate what is coaching and not coaching to understand the concept of coaching. So I think we have quite answers, and we will be sharing them just in a few seconds.
So I'm working on that, and perhaps we can see already what was the first question.
So I'm just checking the answer you posted on the Miro, and 31 people have answered the question, and out of 31, 19% have said no, I haven't been coached, and 12 said yes.
And soon would be coming the other answer.
Okay, so there are very good words. I'm just saying it because Pascal is just putting, and he is doing a very hard work behind the scenes. So let's see what you have written. Guidance, support, questions, listening, uncovering mindsets. This is something that we will be also talking about when we talk about the definition of ICF. Coaching is a type of guiding and helping you, facilitating change to arrive at own solution. So these are very good inputs that you have brought here. So these are more familiar definitions of coaching. And so let's hear what you think is not coaching also. So very good answers again. So I'm just starting reading them. Consulting is not coaching. Therapy is not coaching. Mentoring is not coaching. Controlling is not coaching. Telling someone what to do is not coaching. Final solutioning is not coaching. Giving solutions is not coaching. Giving answers is not coaching. So there is also one word about agile coaching. Agile coaching is not coaching. So this is something that we will also open, because agile coaching is different than professional coaching, and this will help us to differentiate what is a professional coaching approach and how agile coaching is different than the others. And so let me take you through the formal definition of coaching. So thanks everyone for providing the answers. And we would like you to give an insight about what International Coaching Federation says and defines as coaching. And here, as you can see on the screens, ICF defines coaching as partnering with clients in a thought-provoking and creative process that inspires them to maximize their personal and professional potential. The process of coaching often unlocks previously untapped sources of imagination, productivity, and leadership. So we all have goals we want to reach, challenges we are striving to overcome, and times when we feel stuck. Partnering with a coach can change your life, setting you on a path to greater personal and professional fulfillment. This is the explanation from ICF.
And this actually is the ICF a screenshot from the ICF webpage. So we have not modified it. That is referred as the most often as the standard definition of coaching.
Yeah, it also has some words that you have been already using in the Mentimeter, what you understand as coaching. So your answers are really fitting with that ICF explanation. So if you would like to talk about types of coaching, so ICF defines coaching like this, but also there are, coaching is a very fancy word nowadays, like agile. And so everyone claims that they are coaches, but so there are different ways that the coaches help people. So most common coaching types are agile coaching, personal coaching, performance coaching, sports coaching, communication coaching. I think, Pascal, you mentioned that you found it somewhere and you put it because you found it interesting, communication coaching.
No, yeah, my idea was to just show that coaching, and if you speak about coaching and coaching, it's not the same. They might be totally different and they might not meet. So it's very important to clarify about what type of coaching we speak. On the left here, you see a screenshot from ICF. Even on the ICF pages, there are different types of coaching. If you want to select something or clarify there. When I added the event, this one as part of the International Coaching Week into the ICF web pages, I had those options to say what kind of coaching related event this is. Yeah. So, and I've also heard about many other types of coaching. I'm not going to list here, but the point from this slide is that there are many different types of coaching, and you need to be aware in what area of coaching you are moving to, so that there is not any misunderstanding. Yes, and types of coaching, we can see them in two axes. The one axis would be like how much the team and the person and the subject would be like important in and how much the coach needs to be an expert in the subject matter expert, and how much you focus on the subject. Then on the other side, in the other axis, it is like how much you focus on the relationship. So you build up a relationship and you are further down. So you are not a subject matter expert, but you try to be more neutral. So a sports coach has a very specific agenda. he is on the top left. He can define and set up the team and say who would play and who would not play and what would be the tactics, and dictates and directs quite a lot. And then a systemic coach, he works with a system that's given to him by the coachee or the coaches if he's coaching a team, and he tries to be totally neutral. He tries to support the coaches in the sense that what they bring into the discussion, that's from the things he's working with. And then we have the Agile coach, and the Agile coach would be a person who is a bit more in the middle, because Agile coaches are more subject experts in the different methodologies like Scrum, Kanban, etc., and the different frameworks. But then he might move again further down if discussions are more like about personal feelings and motivation and social interaction among people. Then he might be try to more listen. If we, I had like a coaching conversation earlier today, and then we were talking about nonviolent communication topics, and we were trying to work with a certain tricky situation that coachee had. So then I was trying to be more on the systemic part. Okay, so that also indicates the different differences we have in the types of coaching.
So we have one more question for you. Coaching is not a solution in every context and in every area, and there are specific circumstances that you do the coaching. So it's also a question of when should we not coach? What are the circumstances that coaching is not appropriate in that situation? Can you please provide your answers according to your experience or according to your knowledge or imagination? When should we not coach?
I still do not see any answers. Now there are some coming, yes.
Yeah, we have our own views depending on our experiences, and Pascal and I will share about the situations that we found coaching was not the right approach, but we also would like to hear from you when you think coaching is not appropriate or the right solution to act.
I could actually try another thing. Let's see if it works. Share directly the. No, it doesn't work because I'm on the presentation mode.
Maybe you can just, if you see the comments the audience is providing, you can just mention them and we can start talking about our own views.
Yeah, I take what we have so far, and then we will add the next answers. Then at the final version of the slides, you will have all the answers that we have received.
Okay. So when it is not wished for, without permission, drive an agenda, conflict of interests, when tech help is asked, coach state bad, burnout, mental health issues, people didn't ask for, unknown situations, when it is not asked for, and when counseling. Yeah, these are more or less the same what we would be providing you. And it is really important that if you are in a situation of conflict of interest, I wouldn't recommend you that you coach the people or the team, because you can't stay neutral. And this is one of the core competencies, to be non-judgmental, to actively listen, not throw on your own solutions and feelings. So this is really important, that if you find yourself in conflict of interest, we say you just jump out of the coaching cat and bring out, if you can ask the coachee or the team to call for someone who they can talk without conflict of interest. This is really something that I am looking for. If I am in that kind of situation, I'm just jumping out. Pascal, what are your ideas and experiences?
For me, the one important thing is that we are coaches are also humans, and for example, people come and say, "Hey, you can coach your family," but no. When it comes to my family, I'm very emotionally attached, so I will try to avoid totally the coaching of family members, because my kids know what to trigger to me, and I can explode totally. So to be aware of being part of the system when not having the necessary distance, that's very important. And then not to say that I'm not coaching. Also, self-awareness is good to be aware of. As a coach, we need to be aware, are we in a good situation that we can be present enough for the coaching and be able to ask the right questions to the people we coach. So I've once turned out a coaching situation that was already a long time ago, because I was not feeling well. I was too stressed with many other things ongoing. And then I said, not now, we do it another time. So that's also a key thing to be aware of. How much can you be present and create this right environment for the person you're coaching. You mentioned here.
Yeah? Sorry.
Yeah.
I could also add this. This is really important. You have already shared it without permission. Coaching needs to be something that you agree with team or person that you are coaching, that it's a coaching situation. So there needs to be a based agreement that you have a relationship of coaching. So it's really important that people and you are agreeing on that. This will be a coaching process. So when it is over, and it's over, you can always use your coaching skills to communicate with people. But if it is a coaching session or if it's a coaching process sponsored with the companies, then there needs to be a transparent agreement between the coachee and the coach.
Yeah, I mean, we will talk later about stances. So if you are coaching somebody and the session is over and then you leave, if you meet him later on in the corridor at the coffee machine, in the old times when we were meeting at the coffee machine, we had this, then you don't start coaching again because you might have thought of something that you could have said, etc. No, that's not a way. And one very important thing that's also in the ICF when there are those tests, coaching is not therapy. If a person needs help by an expert that's beyond coaching, therapy or a medical help or whatever, then you should tell clearly to the person and create the awareness. Now you need the help of somebody else. Okay. I think we have gone through this slide. So
yeah, I think it is time to tell us. We already started telling about how personally we are working on ourselves to become better coaches. So these are the things that we have experienced, and we also recommend. We also bring here as options for you. We don't know where you are in your journey, but these are the things that both Pascal and I have taken through. So training is important, but it's not enough. You get the theory, you get the understanding, you get the mindset, but I think practicing actively is the heart of coaching. Learning from your own mistakes and reflections on how is it going, your skills, what are the reactions that you are having from your team or from the person you are coaching. So this is really important, and try to put everything that you have learned into practice. It's also a good thing that pairing with one other coach, shadowing and observing. Here in Agile 42, we have a lot of chances to work with different coaches internationally. So this is also something which is a very good wealth of ourselves. like when you are doing a coaching session, you can pair with someone, and you can also ask someone to observe you and provide you some feedback after the session. It is really also important to work with mentors, and they will challenge you and they will help you telling their own stories about how they can overcome some specific problems that you are facing. As Pascal mentioned that he is also doing a ICF peer coaching, I'm doing the same thing, because get a coach for yourself is important in order to openly talk about your things. It's not like a chit-chat talk, you talk with a family member. It's really something you focus on in what area or in what issue you would like to work on for yourself. So it's really important to keep being coached also. And you need to also keep an eye on focusing and growing the individual competencies and skills that we will be covering just in a few minutes now.
I would like to add, like, as a sports person who is, a tennis player who is trying the service several times, to practice the same move over and over again so that he gets the muscle memory. The same, we need to get the memory into our brain muscles, that how we act as a coach, how to do things better, how to ask better questions, how to be more present. It doesn't happen from one day to the other. So that needs practice and constant practice. Yes. On the pairing and shadowing, as Ebru said, that's also something that in group situations it's easier to pair because it doesn't get very intimate and personal. The discussion sometimes might become very, so you always need to think and ask the coachee, can we pair? Sometimes when we do pairing with other coaches, then it's often so that somebody's looking from the background and is observing the other person is coaching the situation, especially in Agile coaching. That is a common practice. And then we get feedback from the person who has been observing, or he might then intervene if I've not been able to see and observe everything and react to everything. So that is the growing thing. And both why pairing is important.
Since we are Agile coaches and also the professional coaches, we would like to also tell about how Agile coaching is differing from the other coaching styles. So here, as you can see, we have the coaching stance. We call it like the Agile 42 coaching approach. We call it also the stances. The coaching is the de facto stance that we would like, that we try to keep ourselves. In the coaching, we facilitate, we challenge, we question, we listen, we observe, and we lead. But we can't always help the organizations, teams, and the individuals just staying in the coaching stance, because we are the subject matter experts on the agility area. So whenever needed, we get the signal that there needs a teaching, then we jump into the teaching stance. And as soon as we understand that the knowledge is transferred, then we come back to the coaching stance again. And we also mentor people who are in their agile journeys, like the product owners or the leaders or the Scrum Masters. So we jump into the mentoring stance if there is a need for mentoring people. And also, since we are working with a lot of companies, people are asking our own opinions, how to solve the problems, and we need to jump into the advising mode as Agile coaches. But we really are careful about it. We are not providing the solutions, but we are providing the options, and we are helping the leaders or the team or the people to justify their opinions and to decide. So we are not the decision maker for themselves, but we are helping them to give decisions based on our options. And always, that is also one of the stances, that it's embodying mindset. So you can't role modeling it every time. So it's really important. And in order to provide agile coaching services, here you can see from Litsa Atkins, Agile Coach Competency Framework, you need to be good at certain areas. So the Agile Lean practitioner is a broader area. And then here you can see professional coaching. So this is really important. You can't just be Agile coach if you are knowing the theory of everything, but if you don't have the coaching mindset, so you need to be really experts on that. So teaching, mentoring, technical mastery, business mastery, and transformation mastery are the areas that you need to invest and grow as agile coaches. I think we can move into the core competencies of...
Yes, so those were different skills, and what Ebru mentioned in the agile coaching, and similar ICF also shows like we need to have certain competencies we need to be good at in order to be a good coach. And that's actually ICF is checking the ethical aspects, and also the core competencies are things that are in the asked and need to be demonstrated by the coaches if you want to get the certification. So they have been updated recently. There have been 11 before. Now they have been a bit simplified. There are 8 core competencies. And we have first the foundation core competencies, which is like demonstrating ethical practices and embodying the coaching mindsets. So the first one is something that we understand and consistently apply the coaching ethics and the standards of coaching. The second one is that then we have the mindset where we are like open, curious, flexible, and client-oriented in our interaction with a client. Then we have 3 competencies that are more like in the co-creation in the relationship. So establishing and maintaining agreements. We've mentioned about this. That's very important to have the agreement for the overall collaboration if we have a longer series, and be clear and with the clients. But then also for every single session, we need to have an agreement. What do we want to achieve in the session, and be clear about that and agree with those things with the client. What are the targets of the discussion? Then there is cultivating trust and safety. So a coach needs to create a safe environment and offer the trust and win the trust of the client, so that the client, the coachee, can bring up the things that really matter. Some of them, as I mentioned, are very personal and difficult topics. And they are not very easy to bring up. I had experiences in the past when I was coaching some people, and perhaps in the 4th or 5th session when we had a series, then suddenly the person, I could feel that, opened up and went really to the bottom of the problem, what was really going on there. And that has been, I was feeling then quite energetic, because now we are talking, now we are really making impact to the client and helping the client to, bring up the things, articulate the things well. So from this perspective, it's very, very important. So trust needs to be in both ways also. And then the 5th one is we need to be present into the situation. We need to not just physically present, but also with our whole mind, consciousness present, and we need to be flexible in our style and respond to the what comes and what messages the client is bringing. 6 and 7 are really of the core competencies are related to the communication. So the 6th one is listening actively. You can only listen actively if you are present. And that means that by listening actively, you understand what's being said and what's not being said. You can listening not only the context of what people are saying, but also the body language, and you can sense the emotions, and you can this way help the client and the overall system that you might be coaching by challenging them and creating awareness for them. the seventh one is the awareness. So by being present and asking the right questions, we facilitate insights. That's a word I use very often. What insights you got from the session? When I do like at the end of the session, getting feedback. What did you learn? What new things? What do you take with you? So those are questions like help in creating the awareness. That's like we use powerful questioning for this, and we might even sometimes in the right moments also be silent or then use some analogies or metaphors in order to make things more clear for the client we coach. And then the last core competence, we really try to be there so that the client is growing and he's getting the next level, transforming and finding solutions and becoming a better person for himself. So those are core competencies by ICF. You see there are many things. And as coaches, we need to work on all of them, but we cannot work on all of them in one go. So it takes, it is a journey, and somewhere you might be better and somewhere you might be worse. That also has to do with our personality.
Yeah, sharing these competencies and skills now from ICF, we would like to hear from you. After seeing these competencies and skills and think about yourself, where is the biggest growing opportunity for you? Can you please write in the Zoom chat? And Pascal, for people to remember, you can just bring them to the previous slide so they can see it. We would like you to think about yourself and what is the growing opportunity for you. And we will be very happy if you write. Just we are giving you some time to think of.
What was the most difficult competences for you, Ebru and Pascal, to learn on your growing path?
We will just tell about them in a few days.
It depends. You know, in some customers, you might need some competencies more. In some other customers, you might need other competencies because people are different and situations are different, and no single situation would be the same.
So it brings the most value when you bring all of these things, even if they are partly, because it's not a coaching then. When you apply for ICF to become a professional coach, then they look for every competency that you are meeting them. Of course, you may be better in some of them, and there may be some circumstances, as Pascal said, but at least you need to cover these 8 competencies at a minimum level in order to be certified by ICF.
And I see there are many: active listening, being present, trust and safety, facilitating client growth. Yeah. So the facilitating client growth is something where it is when the people have the insights and they have understood how to change that into concrete actions so that the people can then improve the situation they're at and master the challenges they have. Mastering neutral position. Yes, that's also one. Good. Thank you. That was, we also ask the questions in a way because we want you to also reflect on the things you are hearing from us. So that's a bit of a coaching stance we take in this webinar. Thank you. So let's move on.
So, Fia, this is the question that we have also asked ourselves again. And this is also something in the chat I can see some of the participants have written. I will also talk about my personal story. Remember, I mentioned that I was acting a manager before I jumped into the Scrum Mastery role and become working on my coaching area. So the embodying coaching mindset was something that I really struggled in my early days of jumping into a Scrum Master role and a coaching role, because I thought the success and the support I was providing the organization is providing solutions to the people, solving their problems myself, because I was a subject matter expert, and at that time of my career, I was working in the same company like 10 years. So I knew everyone, I knew all how the system was working, and I was feeling myself like a question answering people, answering all of these questions like this one. And when I took my role as a Scrum Master and a coach, I started working with a sales team. And since I had a background and career about sales, there were some impediments the team was issuing, and I was just trying to help the team with all the knowledge and all the abilities that I have grown on myself, and providing them options. And for example, at retrospective meetings, what I was doing, okay, these are the actions that as a team we have been taken on, and who is taking the action? Pascal, are you ready to take that action to the next level? I was just with a mindset of problem solving. This is good, but as a coach, when you are in the embodying a coaching mindset, you need to create an environment, safe environment for the people to learn and test and to take the actions they can commit. So this is something I really struggled in the very early days of my my coaching way, and I really got a feedback from the team and from the mentor who was supervising me. So that was an enlightening moment for me. In order to overcome that, I really then started working on being actively listening, understanding what is happening and what is not, what I am hearing and what I'm not hearing, and just stepping out and looking at on the meta level and try to ask the questions neutrally, and also let them some space so they can fail and they can learn. So this is something that I really worked on 2 years. So I'm not joking. I really wanted to be good at this. And Pascal, after you tell your story, I can tell one more story about again a competency that I worked hard on.
Yeah. Those skills and those experience, you need to be conscious to what are your weaknesses, and that you then can, if you realize your weakness, you can work on. Like one of my weaknesses was I always had in my lips the ready answer. Hey, you can do this and this, and then you will solve your problem. It's so simple. But it was not very easy in the beginning. Now, with many years of experience and thinking, you should not say, it has become much better, and I'm more comfortable and more relaxed into that. Another thing which I'm still working on, because often also coaches come and ask, hey, give me an answer, is or asking closed questions. So I have now, for myself, come up with a technique, because trying to be present, I'll also write notes of what happened in the coaching conversation. And those notes help me next time when I have the next session. I can read through the notes, highlight the main points that happened then, and then I'm able perhaps better to be present and connect the dots. So, oh, then you said this and this thing, and then now you say that. Those things belong together. So I refresh my memory in this sense. And what I do then after the session, I do reflect. And I reflect then on how the session went, and what things I want to do better next time, so that I really like try to become better. And then I don't take too many things. So I always, before the session, when I prepare, I start to get a quiet moment, get my my pulse going down. If there are too many other things, get like more concentrated and more silent in my mind, so that I can be fully present into the situation with the client. And then I perhaps think of max 3. Sometimes I might do 4. Sometimes I might even have 2. 3 things I want to consciously practice and be better in during that coaching session. It's 1 hour, 2 hours, depending on what is agreed with the customer. And then at the end, I reflect. And one thing I have always over and over, I don't want to ask any closed questions. And I've now gone into the case that I'm writing down the closed questions, and then I'm trying to reformulate them in the reflection. How can I ask them as a better question? So what I had now in one of my last, is the person good or bad in his work? That is a closed question, because, but then I could ask, what do you think? How good the person is in his work? Where do you find that the person is doing good, and where do you think he's doing bad? It's a bit different, although it's the idea is the same and they are very similar questions, but it gives more freedom for the person to answer. He has more options to answer. Okay, back to you. And I think we are a bit.
Yeah. I think we can move on. You can just connect us on LinkedIn and social media. So if you would like to hear from more of us, you can just contact us so we can continue with the slides.
Good. So we mentioned there coaching certifications, and that's not just to have the certificate, but it's, as you see also in those coaching certifications, it is a journey. You don't become a master immediately. You need to do certain things and fulfill certain preconditions in order to be more on the right side. We've listed here the different certifications on the left, because those are something where Agile 42 is helping the clients also grow in the area. And then there are also other certifications which we do not support, and other certifications organizations also on the Agile field. Some of them are mentioned on the right, not necessarily always coaching, but yeah. So there are many certifying bodies which can help somebody grow in a certain area. Okay, do you take it or should I take it?
So here you can see in Agile 42, we invest in developing of the coaching skills, because we really support companies with our coaching skills, and we provide a lot of different services like support and coaching of your own organization, and we also help you to grow your internal coaches. So we have some coach development programs. We have an ICF-approved Agile team coaching program that will help you to grow your internal coaches. We have IC Agile certified classes, IC Agile team facilitator course, and IC Agile coach course, which is happening next week. And I am the instructor on Monday, starting on Monday. If you haven't registered up yet, and if you are interested, you can visit our website. We also mentor and coach the coaches. So these are the things we are really active on, working our own coaching competencies and also sharing this knowledge and experience with the others.
And that's the last question for you to reflect. So that would be like, where do you think coaching would help you personally or your organization? And because we want it to be anonymously, we put it on Mentimeter, so we also would not know who is answering. And once you have, I will add the picture of what comments you have provided here in a while. Perhaps, Ebru, you can share, or we can go to the first questions.
Yes, where would coaching help you or your organization? And so I'm just
the answers are staying focused, dealing with change, becoming better at sales, better teamwork, active listening, cohesiveness. I'm just reading them now. I can copy paste them later on.
Okay.
Good. Yeah, we have one thing that we can also offer you. There are some. I've put some time slots aside from my side, and I can offer free coaching. And I will now copy the link to the chat, if you give me a moment, and then you can look yourself. And now, sorry, my screen is a bit. So you can look yourself then into that, and book your time. And that would be only for the fast ones, because I've only put like 10 slots for coaching. So that would be then. Now you have it in the chat. Feel free to book the slot.
Yeah.
And that would be 1 slot per person.
This brings us to the last part of the session. And I think we have a few minutes to answer your questions. And I'm just checking the question and answers. And I guess I can't see a question open.
There are no questions. I think people took your instructions very carefully and they listened and had a quiet space to learn today. But if you have any questions, now is still a good moment for this. We have a few moments to take the questions. One question was if the session is recorded, and it is recorded. So it's going to be shared on our social media later on. So just join us online for that.
You can always contact and reach us on our company accounts, LinkedIn, social media, and also it could be something personal and it could be something company-wise. We are here to help with our professional services, so don't hesitate to contact us.
I also put the international email in the chat. It's int-office@agile42.com. If you don't find the right space to contact us, you can contact us via this email, and we will also pair you then with the right local coaches for you. So just feel free to get in touch. Another very good space to find the coaches and to ask questions is our Agile 42 Coffee Club. You can find us on LinkedIn in the group. It's a safe space as well to ask questions, and the coaches will interact with you there. So I know Emily shared a lot of links with you today, so have a look at them or anything.
Good. Yeah, I see there are more answers in the previous question where you might need coaching. It's like we start my consulting business, developing ideas for new areas of business. Help embody the coaching mindsets, understand I don't fix the problem, mastering my time. That's something I've seen also in real life. It's a very common problem with people I've been coaching. Even senior managers have challenged that they don't have time. Unfortunately, the day only has 24 hours. You need to rest and be there for your family and do other things. Yeah, and then there is another one, initiating my coaching career, finding my coaching niche, improve. So growing as a coach, yeah.
Especially in the growing part, I know all our coaches are very happy to do the one-on-one coaching and mentoring sessions, as well as the trainings if you're interested. So you can always get in touch with any one of us for those things. I think we're running out of time. If you guys don't have anything to add, I would like to thank everyone who was here today and for being active on Menti and in the chat and so on. Thank you also, Ebru and Pascal, for your time. It was very valuable to listen to your journeys and all the competencies that we now need to go home and practice on.
Yeah, start small and continue. But thank you also from my side for coming and attending, and feel free to get in touch if you have more things to want to discuss.
Thank you, and hope to connect you and see you. Bye-bye then.